Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and Russia has issued a major warning against Israel. So this is what I've been saying for so long. All these wars that are being manufactured correlate. It says just in Russia warns Israel to not even consider attacking Iranian nuclear facilities. We have this out of Zero Hedge. Russia issues forceful warning against planned Israeli strike on Iran. And as I've mentioned before, Iran has said that they would retaliate and crush Israel if they attack them again. And then again, Israel responded to that by saying the U.S. is joining us in attacking Iran. Iran is one of the biggest allies of Russia and China. This is a major move as we see Hamas chief and so-called October 7th mastermind Yahya Sinwar confirmed dead. Now, October 7th mastermind. I mean, give me a break. First of all, Hamas was armed and funded by Israel in the first place. And as we've very, very well documented, October 7th was indeed a false flag that was planned long ago and was also documented through the Israeli government's own declassified documents showing that they knew down to every detail how many hostages, how many deaths there would be on the date that would happen, and how long there'd be a standout, etc. So this is all part of the script to bring in World War III and force the reset. So we're going to get into this and more today, including some of the most recent stuff regarding what the United States is, their involvement in this is, and further attacks as we also see Italy's Meloni's freezing all contracts with Israel allegedly since October 7th, so that no weapons would be shipped. So there's a lot of back and forth that's being manufactured across the board. We're going to get into it and more. Before we do, I urge you to check those links below and get prepared today. They are cracking down. They are making it impossible to escape in the future. So get on this today. Go and check out heavensharvest.com for long-term storable foods that are non-GMO. There's organic kits, heirloom seeds, water filtration and storage, books on how to get started. Use code WAM, W-A-M, and get 5% off as well as free shipping on these items. It also includes the new self-heating meal kits. Again, this is how you get prepared versus a reset. They need World War III. They need Civil War. They need all these different things, the climate agenda, the bird flu hoax, in order to destroy the food supply and control what you eat based on your social credit scores, which they are unrolling at the United Nations Pact for the Future just recently with digital IDs, etc. Please get yourself and your family prepared today before it's too late. Also, make sure to check out whambeef.com, WAMBEEF.com, for 10 plus year shelf life, freeze dried steak, 12 servings per bag. This is incredible stuff. Again, using code WAMBEEF, WAMBEEF, all one word, you will save 25% on your order. So I urge you to get on that today. Order it up. It's guaranteed no mRNA jabs, no lab grown meat, all American beef that's 100% natural. They want to poison you with rations, and this is how they control you. This is how they make you dependent on them. So please get prepared so you are independent and you are able to fight back by your very essence of humanity rather than bowing to them for food for yourself and your family. So please get on it today. That's whambeef.com. Now let's get into this. So this is out of Zero Hedge. It says Russia issues forceful warning against planned Israeli strike on Iran. Israel security sources have told ABC News and CNN that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has approved a set of targets for retaliation strikes on Iran considered imminent following the October 1st major Iranian ballistic missile attack on Israel, which, by the way, that was a retaliation in itself for Israel killing a bunch of their generals and a bunch of their politicians and also killing their president, which was clearly Israel that was involved in it, not some fog. This is escalation that is by design. Israel and Iran were both propped up by the U.S. in the first place, by the way. This has been scripted out for a long time. It's part of the power shift that we are witnessing worldwide right now. Says still, no timeline has been given, only that the attack is expected to be carried out before November 5th, Election Day in America. American officials expect Israel will retaliate against this month's Iranian attack before November 5th, sources tell CNN. A timeline that would thrust the growing volatility in the Middle East squarely into public view within days of the U.S. presidential election, CNN has written. Russia and China are among the lone global voices urging against any new attacks or escalation from Israel. Beijing's concerns were conveyed in a call between the Chinese and Israeli foreign ministers earlier this week. The Chinese side also condemned attacks on the United Nations interim force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, following reports that the IDF wounded 2 of the UN peacekeepers. China repeated its stance of wanting to see an immediate, complete, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Again, this is part of the script as well, because we're seeing a scripted shift from the west to the east. Again, Klaus Schwab said the role model for the Great Reset is China. They're all in on it, and the West propped up China, Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Israel, all in the first place to create basically a false narrative to make it appear as there's enemies so that they get the right excuse to bring in more restrictions on humanity. It says, but amid reports that Israel's expected attack on Iran could come at any moment, Russia has been the most forceful in its new warnings. On Thursday, the Deputy Foreign Minister, Sergei Ryabkov, conveyed Russia's position that Israel must not even think about hitting Iran's nuclear energy sites or infrastructure. He said that any hypothetical Israeli attack on Iran's nuclear facilities would be catastrophic, as quoted in TASS. We have repeatedly warned and continue to warn to caution Israel against even hypothetically considering the possibility of a strike on a nuclear facility and nuclear infrastructure of Iran. Ryabkov said this would be a catastrophic development and a complete negation of those postulates in the area of ensuring nuclear safety that exist. Netanyahu has reportedly told the White House that Israel will commit to attacking only Iranian military sites. However, reports out of Israel continue to suggest that all options remain on the table. Remember, the finance minister literally just acknowledged that he wants a greater Israel project from the Nile to the Euphrates. This is a land grab. They've already planted flags in Lebanon. This is obvious, but by the way, they also said they just want to hit military sites in Lebanon. They just want to hit military sites in Palestine. I mean, they've killed tens of thousands of innocent women and children. And then they claim that everyone else that retaliates is a terrorist and they have no right to defend themselves, but Israel does, while they basically own politicians, blackmail politicians. They're the ones that use Epstein, according to his plea agreement, as an agent for blackmail to get information on individuals around the world and use it as blackmail, get them on video having sex with underage girls or just prostitutes or in some cases very young children. Sick stuff, but they use that as a way to control the narrative in the United States and in Canada and everywhere in the world. I mean, I can't really think of many places that they don't. And at the end of the day, the people that suffer the most are innocent civilians. Conservatives pretending that Israel's so great. They're the number one in the world at one of the number ones at manufacturing gender bending drugs for children. They have one of the biggest populations of pedophiles per capita in the world, which they shelter. They are the ones that say they're the vaccine factory of the world. They say that they want to push 3D printed meat on the world. They brag about sending migrants to the West. It's all order out of chaos, my friends, as I've said so many times before. So this recent warning by Russia, by the way, goes back to everything I've been warning for so long. If you've been watching my videos, I said this move with Russia means, okay, Kamala Harris says that Iran is the biggest enemy and that also she wants to go to war with Russia. Trump says he can fix a war with Russia, Ukraine, but he wants to go to war with Iran. And he said he wanted to obliterate Iran on multiple occasions. So did JD Vance. And he says his number one thing, his first thing in office is going to be to crush anti-Semitism, which is like such a fucking absurd statement. But they all are owned, my friends, and both examples lead to World War III. You go to war with Iran, you go to war with Russia. You go to war with Russia, you go to war with Russia. So they both lead to the same place. It's all part of the shift into the new Eastern Bloc, and that is the Great Reset, and it's all by the script. Again, Russia propped up in World War I and World War II. The United Nations propped up in World War I, World War II. Pretend enemy of Israel, complete nonsense. They're one and the same. Israel propped up World War I, World War II. Vietnam propped up in World War II. Again, they end up fighting against each other later. The Iranians, 1953 military coup, and then later the Ayatollahs rose up against the U.S., but somehow got weapons that were Western, and then recently got armed again, not that long ago, under Obama. All by the script. China propped up 1948 and 1971. Kissinger meeting with Mao, creating an alliance, propping them up as an economic superpower. So see what I mean? See what I mean? Ukraine, 2014 Maidan massacre, false flag, and then propped up as a superpower. All of these places, and now there's a push for war with Russia, a push for war with China, a push for which the U.S. military was told to get ready by 2027 to go to war with China, a potential war with Iran, and this means a whole region. I mean, this is by design. Now they killed this Hamas leader, which they've said a million times. We killed a Hamas leader. We killed the mastermind before October 7th, behind October 7th. They'll keep saying that until they kill the real mastermind behind October 7th, which is the fucking Israeli government. Down to the detail, everything was documented. Israeli soldiers say ethnic cleansing plan in North Gaza is underway. A reserve soldier told Haaretz that anyone who remains in the north after a deadline will be considered an enemy and will be killed. See, they'll call anyone a terrorist. They'll justify anything by calling people terrorists. Sky News called a murdered Palestinian toddler a lady, but describes 4 active IDF soldiers hit by Hezbollah as teenage victims. What accounts for this bias in infantilizing Israeli soldiers, but treating Palestinian babies as adults? Well, we all know that this is by design. And, we have this out of mintpressnews.com, revealed the Israeli spies writing America's news. We're talking thousands and thousands of Israeli intelligence operatives that are inside mainstream media. And we're talking also of about 128 journalists that are working as so-called unbiased representatives of these media organizations. We have the narratives, the controlled narratives on both mainstream media and mainstream alternative media, pushing a perpetual circle of problems, problem, reaction, solution, repeat, the Hegelian dialect on 2 different controlled opposing sides to bring in this new world order, which again was scripted long ago. Biden's Zionist-controlled cabinet gave Israel green light to invade Lebanon. Even though Joe Biden is America's president, at least in name and on paper, and according to the official 2020 election results anyways, Israeli Zionists are the true controllers of the United States, which in many ways functions as the military arm of Tel Aviv. While the public-facing narrative from the Biden regime concerning Israel is one of opposition to Israel or Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's crusade, the internal narrative is one of full support for not just the Hamas mission, but also the latest mission in Lebanon against Hezbollah. Biden's Lebanon envoy, Amos Hochstein, great name, a former Israeli soldier born in Jerusalem, reportedly gave the green light to Israel to expand its war on Lebanon. Hochstein and presidential Middle East advisor Brett McGurk privately told Israel that the U.S. would support its decision to ramp up military pressure against Hezbollah. In other words, Biden is just a figurehead or a puppet, if you will, while Hochstein and others pulled the strings behind the curtain, at least on the war front in the Middle East, as Information Liberation's Chris Menahan puts it, and I quote, while Biden was busy playing commander-in-chief and pushing the ceasefire while cursing Netanyahu left and right, Hochstein was apparently telling Israel they can do whatever the hell they want. Yeah, because presidents aren't in power. That's why voting your way out of this world war is fucking stupid. Government is organized crime. There's no way that voting for a different plantation boss that'll beat you 3 times a day instead of 4 times a day is going to save you from the reality of being beaten. U.S. rulers expect Israel to strike Iran before Selection Day. This is a major one. They are correlating both the World War III situation and, as I said, World War III and Civil War, as Netanyahu brags about sending migrants to the West. It creates a circular narrative in which there's no escape from unless you escape the paradigm that both the left and the right are pushing, both mainstream media and mainstream alternative media are pushing. Haaretz says Israeli government done with ceasefire talks seeks annexation of Gaza. The Israeli military is currently carrying out part of an ethnic cleansing plan in North Gaza, which could pave the way for Jewish settlements. They've already put their flag down. The finance minister, as we reported recently, said he wants to spread the borders to Damascus. It says on their uniform from the Nile to the Euphrates, including parts of Turkey, as Erdogan seeks permission from the United Nations to bomb Israel alongside Syria and Russia. I told you guys this would happen. I'm not trying to prance around going, hey, look, I told you, but it's true. If you've watched my videos, I've been saying, and people say, oh, it's fear mongering. No, it's just obvious. They tell you what they're going to do ahead of time. You don't have to be Nostradamus to figure this one out. So this is extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, Israel bombs North Gaza shelter, killing over a dozen displaced Palestinians. Children were among those killed in the strike, which Israel claimed was targeting a terrorist commander center. They always say that, but how many terrorists were killed, and whoever they call terrorists, because they could call anyone that. Anyone waves a Palestinian flag, they can call them a terrorist. They're getting arrested in Germany for that. So imagine what they're doing in Israel. But then they like, how many of those so-called terrorists are killed versus the amount of innocent men, women, and children that are killed in the mix of it? They call Hezbollah terrorists. Israel has killed hundreds of times more innocent civilians than Hezbollah or Hamas combined ever have. Egyptian president hosts Iranian finance minister for first high-level visit since 2013. So this is encapsulating Egypt, which of course is part of BRICS now as well. It's a shift from the west to the east, like I said. Italy's Meloni says froze all arms contracts with Israel since October 7th and criticized them for attacking the United Nations. Israel says that the United Nations has to leave. They're creating a narrative, same with Macron and Spain as well. So France, Spain, and Italy now. As Germany continues to arm Israel, they're creating conflict in the area to split the European countries against each other, as they've done so many times, because it's one of the easiest places to stoke a war if you get those countries against each other, because they're very close to each other and they all have different cultures that are slowly being eroded, by the way, as these migrants are sent there after war, which I'm not blaming the migrants. I'm blaming the government offering them welfare after devastating their countries in countries that are culturally not able to correlate with the cultures of the West, which by design creates a conflict. It's not the migrants' fault. They're being forced over there. Of course, we have a bunch of crazed ones that are raping and killing in the West, which is disgusting and needs to be called out. But I'm talking about like the women and children. And they're doing this to bankrupt the country, destroy culture, and clash everyone against each other. There's even calls for as many as 600 million migrants over the years to be sent to the United States. The population of the United States is like 350 million last I checked. So, they're doing this to clash everyone, to bring in emergency orders. All of these things lead to the same goal, and they create controlled opposition, which will never tell you the whole story. And that leads to perpetual warfare, perpetual destruction, everyone distracted by attacking each other instead of looking at the real enemies that are playing them against each other, like pawns on the chessboard. But who is the hand that's moving the chess pieces? What if it's someone playing chess against himself? And then, these different countries and the people are the pawns on the chessboard. Sometimes the knights seem like they're standing up and they're doing the right thing against the other army, the invading army, and they're going to be the heroes. And then, of course, you have the king and the queen. But of course, the pawns are always sacrificed for the king and the queen, and then you have the talking heads, which are the knights. I think that's 100% what's happening. That's like the fake alternative heroes of people like Elon Musk, who's a knight on one side, and Bill Gates, who's a knight on the other side. But they're both controlled opposing factors. Because at the end of the day, Elon Musk wants a Pentagon-funded mesh network in the sky attached. Again, it is funded by the Pentagon. If he's so anti-establishment, why is that? Attached to brain implants in your head while he's bringing out robots that he's selling to you for cheap so that you get surveillance mechanisms and robots that control, make your dinner, clean the house, everything like that. Oh, convenience. Tyranny always comes under the guise of convenience. Put those into your house, self-driving cars that could drive you to the gulag and lock you in with bulletproof windows. Yeah, this is pretty obvious. Oh, and not to mention X, which he's registering as a bank, which then is attached to all the information you've ever shared since 2007, 2006 on Twitter, including private and public, which can control a narrative and make basically a blueprint for your personality based on what do you say publicly, what do you say privately. Also based on social credit, considering that the algorithm already decides whether you can be seen or not based on your behavior. That is social credit. All of these things correlate with the exact same end goal: biometrics, transhumanism, digital ID, which are rolling out across the board. The United Nations Pact for the Future, which they already put out, that's already out there. 193 countries have signed on. Net zero by 2029, 2050, but there's the banning of meat by 2029, the banning of travel by 2029. All they need is a right crisis. Well, World War III and Civil War seem like a good crisis for that. A bird flu hoax, weather modification, can't forget, demoralization and weakening of the populace, and of course, the climate agenda, which all leads you to the same end goal: 15-minute cities, digital IDs, carbon credits, social credits, the destruction of the food supply. So they give you rations. Those rations are poisoned. mRNA, they already say they're doing it. They want to have food rations with mRNA in it in Germany for war. They are pushing for conscription in Germany, in the UK, in Canada, and the United States. The United States wants to test mRNA rations on soldiers. All of these things correlate. They want biometrics for illegal migrants in one case on the right, and then they want biometrics for, that the CIA gets sent over there in the first place. And they want biometrics on the left for the climate agenda. I mean, my goodness. It all ends the same way. The basis of humanity is freedom, individualism, self-sustainability. These are synonymous, my friends. Freedom isn't something you hold in your hands. You are free or you're not. It depends on what you do on a day-to-day basis. So therefore, when we see all these things happening in the world, they want to bankrupt humanity. The real war is on humanity. The solution isn't to bow to a new plantation master on the plantation. That the reality is we need to leave the plantation, and by that, not be dependent on grocery stores, banks, government, the grid, all these different things. Oh, but that's difficult. It's easier said than done. So is literally everything ever in human history. It's easier said than done. The only thing easier than being said is thinking. So first, people have to think for themselves and then realize they have to follow the more inconvenient path, the slower path, the bumpy road that's made of gravel instead of the nice one that feels like you're on rails, like with asphalt. You go down the separate road that doesn't lead to Rome, and it doesn't lead to the Tower of Babel, and build your own future based on independence, which got us as humans to this point in the first place. But now we've been weakened by convenience. And so the war isn't between countries. It isn't even between religions or ideologies. Essentially, everyone ends up bowing to the real, true, most dangerous religion on earth, which is government. So stop being controlled by statists and statism, and with statist narratives and solutions to the problems they created in the first place and manufactured in the first place, and continue, perpetual dependence by the masses, which the state depends on. They depend on the dependence of the masses. Collectivism. Look to yourself as a real solution for yourself and your family, because that is how you will get out of this. Not being dependent on them is how you win. So again, food, water, shelter, self-defense. You're not gathering things for the toughest guy on the block. In my opinion, gold and silver is wealth insurance, privacy coins, etc., not investment advice. But the reality is to not be in a situation where you have to get food rations from the government with poison in them to feed your family because all your money's in the bank, or because you depended on grocery stores, or you don't have enough storable foods. This isn't a grift. I don't care where you go to buy this stuff. At the end of the day, I want you to not be afraid. I want you to be prepared so that you can give them a big fucking middle finger when they come for everyone, and they will, as they've been doing in a slow roll way, and eventually it's going to snowball, and that tidal wave is going to hit us fast. And it could happen at any time. It could happen in 3 years. It could happen next week. So please, please, please take care of yourselves. In doing so, go and check out, as I've said so many times before in my videos, go and check out heavensharvest.com for long-term storable foods that are non-GMO. There's organic kits, heirloom seeds, water filtration and storage, books on how to get started. Use code WAM, W-A-M, and get 5% off, as well as free shipping on your order. This is life-saving stuff, in my opinion. And get multiple buckets that last you a while. Get the self-heating meal kits. Get the seeds so you can grow things. Again, you give a man a fish and he eats tonight, but you teach a man to fish, he feeds his family for a lifetime. Very important. So go and check that out. Again, that's heavensharvest.com. That's code WAM, W-A-M. We also have whambeef.com, as I mentioned earlier. That's WAMBEEF.com for 10 plus year shelf life, freeze-dried steak, 12 servings per bag. So it's a great deal. You save more money than you see here by using our code WAMBEEF, WAMBEEF, all one word. You'll get 25% off on your order. So get yourself prepared today. You won't be able to buy things like beef in the future, according to them themselves. So it's good to just have this, just to have it ready to go. Guaranteed no mRNA jabs, no lab-grown meat, which they want to give to you in those ration lines. And they need war. They need the right excuse to bring in this reset, my friends. Don't give them the excuse. Get prepared today. That's whambeef.com. Also, of course, we have freedomkettle.com, Freedom Kelly Kettle Ultimate Stainless Steel Base Camp Kit, where you could use code WAM, W-A-M, and get free shipping. And you could use that code on any of the other products on the website at Patriot Prepared and save money. You can get a 1.6 liter steel-based camp kettle, cook set, hobo stove, cup set, plate set, pot support, and carry bag. And it's great for off-grid living, boiling water survival. It's great just for camping, but it's good to have ready for if and when the grid goes down. You can also check out firstnationalbullion.com/schedule-consult/. It has to be that link. You can, I mean, if you get to work with Mark Gonzalez this way, who we've done many videos with as of recently, including banks to steal your money regarding the 63 countries that just signed on to bail-in regimes. They want to cash you out and control you. If you go to firstnationalbullion.com/schedule-consult/, you could buy physical gold and silver, hold it in your hands, put it in a vault, or put it in an IRA outside of the traditional IRAs, which I personally think are dangerous. And this involves, getting outside of the CBDC system. You get to schedule an appointment for a free consultation with Mark Gonzalez and a complimentary investors package. So get on this today, my friends. I think this is extremely important going forward. Let him know in the comments that you found him at World Alternative Media or WAM, WAM. Of course, we have Wave Watch with 1,000+ frequencies. They're trying to control your mind with negative frequencies to control your health and hurt you with cell phone towers, radio signals, etc. This is like having a rife machine on your wrist. The new Wave Watch has 1,000+ frequencies. You'll save $100 on your order if you use code WAM, WAM. This is amazing stuff. Helps you with mental clarity, helps you with physical issues, it helps you with sleep, etc., detoxing. So go and check it out below. Again, that's code WAM, WAM. Finally, if you want to find us at Anarchapulco 2025, I urge you to check that link below. February 2025, anarchapulco.com. Again, use code WAM, WAM, and save money on your tickets. I hope to see you there. Charlie Robinson's there, Dr. Andrew Kaufman's there, Jeff Berwick's there, and many, many others. And I almost forgot to mention RNC Store. I can't go without that because it can save lives. So I have some Laetrile B17 in front of me here. Check out rncstore.com, Richardson Nutritional Center, your source for Laetrile online, made famous by G. Edward Griffin's book, World Without Cancer. Get your apricot seeds, Laetrile, amygdalin, and vitamin B17 there. Use code JOSH, J-O-S-H, and save money on your order. I think this is important. They're trying to kill us, and I want to have those solutions out in front of you for all of you to see. Anyway, as we close this off, we have gogetfunding.com, Patreon, Subscribestar. Anything helps to support us, my friends. Please consider donating or pledging. $4.99 a month or more gets you exclusive content. Of course, we have a PayPal address, ancientwonderstelevision@gmail.com. We have a Bitcoin address below, as well as a Cointree link with a bunch of different cryptocurrencies that you could donate in if you please, including privacy coins. It's life-saving for us, my friends. We could not survive without you. We've been sabotaged, attacked because we're not mainstream or mainstream alternative media. And of course, we just want to tell the truth and we're not the opportunists that so many are that just try to get on a certain narrative. We go against everything which makes us unpopular, but it's the truth and we need it to be available to everyone. And we want to bring people solutions for it. We're hit with legal issues, etc. So any help is very much appreciated. We have a Teespring store in the description below as well. And as always, you can find us on Telegram, Rockfin, Band.video, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, and Brighteon at World Alternative Media. We're on Hive, Steemit, and Vigilante.tv at Josh Sigurdson, as well as the Bad Guys, TikTok and Instagram, World Alternative Media, Twitter, and Getter at World Alt Media, and all the major podcast platforms except for Spotify, where, of course, we are banned. Hit that like button, share on social media, hit the notification bell, and hit subscribe if you have not yet already. And as always, my friends, live freely, live by example. That's all we want to deliver to you guys. We want people to take the, advantage of being a human being and live by the basis of humanity, individualism. We need people to do that if we want to win against this evil plot against humanity. So anyway, I appreciate everyone watching. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.